coming to you live from Oyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital. My name is Ofonono Joseph. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu celebrates Obanikoro at 65. SDP expels El-Rufai, bans him for 30 years. Plus, food arrives in Gaza after Israel pauses some fighting. Stay tuned for details of these and more stories in just a moment. Obanikoro. Obanikoro. Good afternoon and thank you so much for joining us on the News at 4. We begin the news from the national scene where President Bola Tinubu has extended warm felicitations to prominent Lagos politician and former Minister of State for Defense, Senator Musiliu Obanikoro, on his 65th birthday. Steadfast service to Lagos State and Nigeria. In a statement by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, today, Tinubu described Senator Obanikoro as an influential leader within the Lagos political landscape and a dependable stakeholder in the All Progressives Congress (APC). Tinubu noted that Obanikoro's service extended beyond state-level responsibilities, recalling his impactful roles as a senator representing Lagos Central from 2003 to 2007, later as Nigeria's High Commissioner to Ghana. Away from that, the federal government has launched a loan fund to support staff of tertiary institutions. The fund, known as the Tertiary Institution Staff Support Fund, is designed to enhance the welfare and professional development of academic and non-academic staff in universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. According to reports, each academic and non-academic staff member will be eligible to receive up to 10 million naira, capped at 33.3% of their gross annual salary. Eligible uses include transportation, medical support, and micro-enterprise ventures such as poultry farming. This was disclosed in a statement by the Director of Press at the Federal Ministry of Education, Folashade Borio. From the Red Chambers, where the Senate has debunked reports suggesting a clash between the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, and the Senate leader, Okpeyemi Bamidele, during a recent executive session. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Yemi Adaramodu, who described the claims as baseless and misleading. Recall that a report surfaced alleging a heated exchange between Akpabio and Bamidele during an executive session of the Senate held on Tuesday, July 23, 2025. The report claimed that both leaders clashed over alleged internal wrangling within the Senate, with suggestions of growing discontent among senators about Akpabio's leadership style and decision-making approach. Denying the claims, Adaramodu said no altercation occurred, adding that what took place was a routine internal discussion, which was being wrongly framed as a power tussle. He stated that the Senate remained united and fully supportive of its leadership, stressing that robust debates during executive sessions were not usual and should not be mistaken for conflict. To the Green Chambers, where the House of Representatives has proposed a single day for the conduct of the 5 elections in 2027. If the proposal is upheld, the reviewed Electoral Act would empower the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to simultaneously conduct the presidential, senatorial, House of Representatives, governorship, and House of Assembly polls in one day. Other amendments being proposed by the lower chamber of the National Assembly include the payment of 50 million naira by political associations seeking registration as parties, restriction of presidential election expenses to 10 billion naira, conduct of elections 120 days before the expiration of the incumbent's term, and determination of election petitions within 90 days after the exercise. The House also took steps to end series of by-elections arising from resignation and death of elected members of the State and National Assembly, proposing that parties who sponsored the lawmaker who died or resigned be made to produce his replacement. Talking politics, the National Working Committee Social Democratic Party has expelled former Kaduna Governor Nasser El-Rufai from the party SDP. SDP declared El-Rufai as ineligible to associate with the party in any capacity for the next 30 years. The leadership of the party accused him of falsely parading himself as a party member, manipulating internal processes, and attempting to destabilize the party through unconstitutional actions and deceptive political maneuvers. This was made known in a statement signed and made available to reporters by the National Publicity Secretary, Araba Ayeniba, in Abuja today. In a separate development, the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, has denied and condemned reports linking it with some individuals allegedly selling personal information of victims, including bank verification numbers BVN and the National Identity Number NIN, to fintech firms. In a statement by its head corporate communications, Kayode Adegoke, NIMC said it will not be held liable for the sharing of personal data. The reaction comes after the EFCC disclosed the sale of personal information details of victims' BVN and NIN to some fintech institutions, allegedly for about 5,000 naira. The EFCC had emphasized that the large-scale fraud, which is currently under investigation, is being carried out by the affected youths. Moving now to Africa, where the United States is suspending all routine visa services at its embassy in Niamey, Niger, until further notice. A State Department spokesperson, Marco Rubio, confirmed that the pause covers all immigrant and non-immigrant visa categories, citing concerns with the government of Niger. The visa freeze comes amid rising tensions. Recall that the U.S. military completed its withdrawal from Niger last September after the ruling junta ordered out nearly 1,000 American troops. Still in Africa, Ghana has recorded its first death from monkeypox. Health authorities confirmed amid a sharp rise in new infections in the West African country. 23 new cases have been confirmed in the past week, bringing the total number of infections to 257 since the virus was first detected in Ghana in June 2022. The latest figure marks the highest weekly increase since the outbreak began and the first fatality recorded in the country. Health Minister Kwabena Minta Akonda told journalists that the situation is under control, adding that the Ghanaian government agency responsible for public health is expected to receive vaccines from the World Health Organization this week. On the foreign scene, Cambodia and Thailand have agreed to an immediate and unconditional ceasefire following peace talks. Malaysia's leader Anwar Ibrahim said the ceasefire would take effect from midnight local time, adding that it is a vital first step to a de-escalation and a restoration of peace and security. Reports say at least 33 people have been killed and thousands displaced since 24 July, when fighting escalated following months of tensions. The talks were held after U.S. President Donald Trump asked both nations to agree to a ceasefire as a precondition to their respective trade talks with Washington. The dispute between the two countries dates back over a century, when their borders were drawn after the French occupation of Cambodia. Still on the foreign scene, truckloads of food reached hungry Gazans today after Israel promised to open secure aid routes, but humanitarian agencies warn vast amounts more were needed to stave off starvation. With Gaza's population of more than 2 million facing famine and malnutrition, Israel bowed to international pressure at the weekend and announced a daily tactical pause in fighting in some areas. Safadi, who has been up before dawn for 2 weeks searching for food, said today was his first success. He added that other Gazans were less fortunate. Some complained 8 trucks had been stolen or guards had fired at them near U.S.-based aid centers. Still to come in the news. Super Falcons arrive Abuja, set for trophy parade. Stay tuned for details of this in a jiffy. Welcome back. Many thanks for sticking with us. Now we conclude our news stories. On our business news, the federal government has set a goal to generate over 2 million jobs across Nigeria through its renewed Hope social housing program, aimed at addressing the country's housing deficit and creating economic opportunities for citizens. This was revealed by the Minister of Housing and Urban Development. 100 housing units will be constructed in each of the 774 local government areas across the country. He noted that the housing initiative will generate over 2 million jobs, breaking it down as 25 persons per job, 27 jobs per location, in 77,400 locations. Still in business, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, has tasked the new management team of Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, to bring their diverse wealth of experience to bear on their new assignment. Assuring the ministry's full support in the task ahead, Edun noted the critical role of the NDIC in the nation's march towards economic stability, financial safety net and prosperity. He gave the charge at the inauguration of the new Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, Thompson Sunday, and the Executive Director Operations, Kabera Katata, at the Ministry of Finance, Abuja. While addressing the NDIC staff at the corporate headquarters, Sunday promised to work in harmony with them to move the corporation to its next level of performance. In health, as the world marks World Hepatitis Day today with the theme, Let's Break It Down, a microbiologist from the University of Uyo has urged Nigerians to take preventive health measures seriously to reduce the spread of hepatitis. Speaking on the significance of the day, Dr. Samuel Ibok describes hepatitis as the inflammation of the liver, not the kidney, as commonly misunderstood. He explained that the disease is caused by different viruses, including hepatitis A, B, C, D, and E. According to him, common causes of hepatitis include excessive alcohol intake, having multiple sexual partners, and consuming contaminated food.
An inflammation of the liver cells. So liver is one of the important engine room of the body. It helps in the body metabolisms. And when they are infected or being injured by any means, they got inflamed. The hepatitis A and hepatitis E, these are the one that causes acute infections. The acute infection is the one that doesn't last for a long time. The hepatitis A and E are being transmitted through fecal-oral. These viruses are being secreted in the stools, in the feces. And when an individual feed or drink anything that is being contaminated by stool, they are at risk of contacting these hepatitis. Hepatitis B and C, these are the ones that can cause both the acute infection and the chronic infections. So the mode of transmission, like piercing the body, even in the saliva, in the sweat, in the semen, in the vaginal secretion. So if it can be transmitted through sex, even
ways to prevent liver complications such as cirrhosis and liver cancer.
Like what you said, who are the people at risk? Okay, like I said, that hepatitis A and E are being caused by are being transmitted by fecal-oral. That means through the oral route, through the mouth, by eating what has been contaminated by the feces. So good sanitary condition food in treating your drinking water can help risks. That is why nowadays the four diseases that can be transmitted through blood. So
the World Hepatitis Day is commemorated every year on July 20, silent killer that leads to severe liver disease and liver cancer. This year's observance serves as a call to action to break down the financial diseases. Now to sports, where the home-based Super Eagles will take on Zanzibar in a pre-2024 African Nations Championship CHAN friendly today, 2 p.m. Nigerian time. The Eagles will also face the East Africans in another friendly on Thursday. Also, Nigeria